Hey there, my name's Niandra. Echo is finally with us on the PTR, and I wanted to give my initial thoughts because I am very excited. I think a lot of us are kinda sad that she ended up being a DPS and not a support. Personally, I would have preferred that, and this probably feels worse because in the aftermath of roll queue, hero releases slowed down when it was almost the perfect opportunity to speed it up to even the numbers out. I have heard that Echo is the only new hero we'll be getting before Overwatch 2, and in that case, I definitely feel a non-DPS would have been healthier for the game for a handful of reasons. For starters, it would help with queue times, which DPS Echo may end up making worse. Second of all, we've seen Blizzard block 2 supports in the same hero band, which ended up being equal to 30%. In my Symmetra video, I talked about how I would love to see certain DPS reworked into other categories to help with the number disparity, and I'm even more interested to see that happen now we've got an Echo and Overwatch 2 doesn't have a release date. That being said, I'm kind of at a point where I am just thankful for any sort of big update, even if it's not completely what I imagined. I think Echo is fun enough that the initial disappointment of not getting a new support or tank kind of washes away after a few games and can definitely be put aside. Okay, let's talk about her kit and get straight into it. I want to look at her ultimate first because that really seems to be the core of this hero. For anyone who doesn't know, she chooses an enemy and becomes a copy of their hero for 15 seconds with a 650% increase in ult gain. I know, it's crazy. Even if it ends up not very useful, I think the idea behind it is super cool, super unique, and props to the devs for it honestly. It's been so much fun seeing the community come up with all these crazy combos like getting a second res or going Battle Mercy or getting another combo piece like Graviton Surge. I also think it's worth noting that this hero doesn't have any CC or stuns, and that should absolutely be praised because I just want to play the video game. Also, 3 really important things to note about Duplicate. 1. Your HP becomes that of the hero you copy. 2. If you die during your ult, you simply turn back into normal Echo as opposed to actually being dead. 3. You appear to get fully healed once ult is over, even if you were badly damaged beforehand. I don't really like to say if an ability is overpowered or underpowered so soon after release, but if Echo gets nerfed in future, I absolutely think these aspects will be some of the first to get hit. When I played on the PTR, Reinhardt was the most copied, and although my team was nowhere near as coordinated as a competitive match, it did get a bit tiresome to play against. Because of the ult charge increase, you often need to deal with the clone quickly, but if you do, her second life of mobility almost act like a get out of jail free card that makes it hard to feel like you've punished her, even if she played poorly. I think there's a few solutions to this. Either make it so she dies for real if killed in clone form, which will kind of prevent her from just going apeshit on Rein, or to make clone health scale once ult finishes. For example, if you had 50% health left on Zarya as it ended, you'd have 50% health as Echo, but yeah, I'm just spitballing here. Moving on, you've got Flight. In my opinion, it feels really good, and there seems to be a lot of possibilities with flanking or finding off angles when you consider the control over it. When looking at Echo's mobility, it's really hard not to feel bad for Pharah. I'm gonna eventually do a video on the state of her, but Pharah's barely been touched in so long, while numerous counters have been buffed and even non-DPS heroes like Baptiste and D.Va can give her a lot of trouble. Not only is Pharah no longer the only flight-based DPS, you could argue that she's not even the best at it anymore with Echo's movement being way more fluid. Jeff also mentioned that she counters Pharah if you weren't already feeling pitiful. Moving on, the next ability is Focusing Beam, which does very low damage unless the target is under 50% health, where it does 200. Honestly, I thought this was fine, and keep in mind, this ability can only hit one enemy at a time, which I think keeps it pretty balanced. I definitely think you could make an argument that her kit doesn't really need it though, considering she already covers so many areas with flight, burst damage, poke damage, and so on. I know a lot of players have felt that previous characters like Sigma and Baptiste have bloated kits, especially compared to those in the base game, and I have a feeling that discussion will be one we see again with Echo. As a Mercy player, there's quite a few instances where I leave allies injured to push for damage boost and then heal once the kill is confirmed to reap ult charge from both. I guess this is something I've just got to be more careful with in future, say for example we've killed 4 enemies and it's just Echo left on the objective. I may be more inclined to heal, as much as that saddens me. And last of all, you've got her primary fire, which is fine. No damage drop-off is the only potential issue I can think of, and her secondary, which are sticky bombs that do high burst damage. I would not be surprised if this gets hit in future with nerfs because it often felt a little too good and consistent, especially for the short 6-second cooldown it has. I played one match as Mercy where I hard-pocketed our Echo with damage boost, and the sticky bombs ended up being so good. There was a lot of consistent one-shotting on squishies. Overall, I honestly really like Echo. I think her kit is fun, interesting, and while it may be too good in certain places, Blizzard seem to have acknowledged it. Heroes generally spend a few weeks on the PTR, so hopefully we'll see some small tweaks before her final release. Sadly, we didn't get any hero changes with this update, only bug fixes, so I'm gonna wrap up here. Thank you so much for watching, feel free to check out my Patreon, and have a nice day.